my talk today is Building Back Better with Bamboo. And it's essentially about how we should integrate bamboo into our green recovery plan and sustainable development plan. So I would like to start with this study that was just published earlier this year that tried to quantitatively analyze the long-term implications of the COVID-19 pandemic on our environmental pressures globally. And as you can see here, there are four main environmental indicators, namely greenhouse gas emissions, air pollutants, land use change, and also materials use, being biomass and fossil fuel use. And how back in 2020, we can see a significant reduction in all of the levels. And also, back in the COP26, our president mentioned that in Indonesia, deforestation rates dropped significantly and actually at its lowest in 20 years, and that forest fires have already reduced by 82% back in 2020. So all of these changes and reductions are actually very desirable and something that I would like to maintain over time. And it can be the silver lining throughout the pandemic, actually. However, it is predicted that once the vaccine have been more widespread and economic activities have resumed back to normal, the levels of these environmental indicators will also go back to the pre-COVID baseline levels and even more to an alarming level if we still keep doing business as usual. Because we have to understand that these reductions happen because of just weakened economic activities and a lot of reductions in activities in energy-intensive sectors such as building, construction, agricultural, and industrial, and not because we're doing something differently in terms of our sustainable consumption and production patterns or methods. And so this is where green recovery can come in. Building back better means building back more resilient, and the COVID-19 actually offers us an opportunity to build recovery plans that will change the way we do our lifestyle, the way we consume and produce stuff towards a more sustainable future. And green recovery pretty much means how we can make sure we do things more efficiently towards a more circular economy. Because so far, environmental pressure is always linked with increased economic activity, and this is where we should definitely look on how we can make sure to decouple economic growth and environmental degradation. And we can do this by first making sure that we are mindful about the materials we choose to work with and the objects we consume, and then going back to the rate of consumption, because this is something that we should all pay attention first and foremost. We can't really afford overconsumption anymore, and so we should definitely be able to learn on how to live and consume within ecological limits. And third, we can also complement the change of lifestyle and mindset with finding the second best alternative to materials that are already depleted and exploited. And the alternative material of interest here that I want to talk about is bamboo. Bamboo production is actually related a lot to a lot of sustainable development goals. And at the center of it all, sustainable consumption and production. And I'll be basing my talk today based on the World Environment Day theme this year, which is the 3R. 3R means reimagining, recreating, and restoring. Reimagining means reimagining development. Recreating means recreating economies. Restoring means restoring the ecosystem, and all in relation to bamboo. Reimagining development with bamboo. So development is always related to energy. When I think about development, I always think about energy, and we actually have a plan, as in Indonesia, we have a plan to go into a green transition by phasing out coal. And our president actually mentioned back at COP26 that we can achieve coal phase out with sufficient funding from international organizations. And actually, the Asian Development Bank have secured funding to lend Indonesia so that we can phase out coal slowly, 50% in the next 10 to 15 years, and completely by 2040. However, our president did mention that our plan to phase out coal is by investing in single feedstock biodiesel that comes from palm oil. And this is something that we should all be concerned about, because understanding that palm oil plantations are always related to a lot of deforestation issues here in Indonesia, and also land use change, especially also forest fires that has impacted us as a country and also neighboring countries. And so this is where bamboo can come in, and we can definitely look at bamboo as a potential source of biomass so that we can diversify our biofuel industry and not just focus on single feedstock, palm oil, the biodiesel. And the second part of development I want to talk about is construction. And construction is actually a sector that consumes most material and produces most waste. And so we can use bamboo here to decarbonize the building sector by replacing energy-intensive materials such as concrete, steel, and glass. Bamboo is actually even considered to be the building material of the future, and that it can definitely be a material to aid sustainable development. The second part of the 3R is recreating economies. And we can definitely recreate economies by using bamboo. The world is predicted to double in its economy by 2050 due to technology-driven improvements. And this is where we should think about green economy so that we can ensure green economic development, but at the same time making sure we reduce poverty rates, and also at the same time making sure our environment is protected. And there are actually a lot of uses of bamboo. There are currently around 10,000 documented uses of bamboo. You can have bamboo to as building material. You can have it as fabric or to produce paper and even textiles. And so bamboo can definitely also be used to ensure that the rural communities, especially the local farmers, can harness the potential of bamboo fully. And since bamboo is a very easy material to work with, it can grow in a lot of different harsh conditions, even on the most arid land. And so this is something that the locals can definitely take advantage on, especially if we increase the interest and demand for bamboo products. And the third part of the 3R is recreating ecosystems, restoring ecosystems. And bamboo has long been believed to be the powerful ally for land restoration. And not only that, you can also have bamboo to conserve water and to make sure our air quality is protected, as it has a high carbon sequestration rate, which means it takes in more carbon dioxide and also releases more oxygen into the wild. And so it will really help not to just restore our ecosystem, but to protect our health as well. And I'll go and talk about some recommendations on how we can sustainably cultivate and utilize bamboo here in Indonesia. We can first and foremost make sure that we invest in research so that we can ensure development in this area, especially in Indonesia. We can also increase economic studies of land restoration using bamboo so that we can understand the financial benefits of local farmers in Indonesia when they cultivate bamboo. And we also have to increase the interest of bamboo to the public so that we ensure a healthy economy in this sector. And then only we can encourage development of bamboo plantations here in Indonesia and encourage technological advancement in bamboo processing. Because the thing with our country is that we always have trouble in terms of technological advancement to process things, so it's higher in value. And actually, Indonesia is the third largest bamboo exporter in the world, but just as a raw material. So imagine if we can actually invest in technological advancements so we can harness bamboo and take the economic benefits from it. And we have to also make sure that native forests aren't mowed down to make way for bamboo plantations, because currently right now there are already 24 million hectares of degraded land in Indonesia, and so we don't have to mow down native forests to make way for bamboo plantations. We can instead take these degraded lands and plant bamboos there. And we also, there's another recommendation to keep harvest level of bamboo at 30%. So we make sure that we can harvest it as a material, but at the same time, we can have it around in our ecosystem to have it replenish our air and our soil. I would like to close by saying that although bamboo alone will not solve the world's climate change problems, however, if bamboo is properly harnessed, it can offer practical solutions to our climate change mitigation adaptation. And that sustainable cultivation of bamboo is definitely something very highly valuable to look into. And I hope we can increase awareness of bamboo here in Indonesia and that we can invest more in it. And so I hope that Indonesians can integrate bamboo more into our daily lives so we can make sure that we can harvest the economic benefits of bamboo here in Indonesia and also have it successfully integrated into our green recovery plan and sustainable development plan. Thank you.